Hey everybody, welcome to Warfare Online. Now this is a strategy game created by the folks over at Masterofroflness who are famous for games such as Warfare 1917 and Warfare 1944. For those of you who don't know, Warfare 1917 and Warfare 1944 were strategy games where you had to take your army and just move it from point A to point B to your opponent's side of the map. They had a historical theme to it, so for example, Warfare 1917 was about World War I, Warfare 1944 was about World War II. So now they've decided to go into the modern age, but this time around they're releasing on Steam and adding in a bunch of different features. So first and foremost, this is way different than 1944 and 1917 in that you can actually customize the units and the platoons and the cards that you get before the battle. Now, in the previous games, you got a select amount of cards that you can use in order to defeat your opponents. This time around, you can choose what you can send out. So over here, here's the units that we can have access to, and there's a bunch more. Actually, let me create a new platoon. So you have a choice between one or two nations, USA or Russia. I assume they're going to expand this list more so in the future, but let's just choose USA for now. You got your little overview over here with units selected, support assets, operations assets, the works. And right now we can assign up to 5 units in our entire army. And we got a good amount of choices. We got rifleman, assault, AT team, machine gun team, sniper team, the light mobility vehicle, heavy infantry fighting vehicle, and then the main battle tank. So let's say I want this guy right over here. Well, I can only choose 4 people. So then I can choose rifleman, assault, sniper, and this little truck. Okay, that's all. So then that's my 4s. I can upgrade them later down the line, give them some better kit, some grenades, some just in general better weaponry that should help out a lot. It does, however, kind of have you get EXP with those units in order to actually unlock the equipment. So right now I can only get experienced squad if I get about 4,000 XP, or I can only get CQB kit if I get 500 XP. So if I want the assault squad to be even better, I gotta keep using it over and over and over again. You may also notice the numbers attached to this unit. That's because I can only use this unit about 10 times and the unit's completely gone. So you don't want to waste them willy-nilly. Now over here, here's your support cards. They range from logistics, which can aid you in battle to get out more units or to get reinforcements. Fire support, which are call-ins that can destroy your opponent. Networks, which can give you some stat bonuses and stuff, as well as command, which does basically the same thing. And also you got your support units as well that you can call in. Most of them, I think, are kind of locked to faction-specific unit types. So Russia might not have the same assault team as the Americans. Anyway, we could just select about 20 of them. They're randomly given to you throughout the game. And there is a max limit for the amount of cards that you can have. And then over here we have operations. Now, operations have to be crafted in order to get them. And it requires something called munitions. You can get munitions by, I believe, just fighting in battles or paying for them. So right now over here I got the, whoopsie daisy, I got the ballistics manufacturer. This will allow me to just get a little bit more firepower. That's really about it. You got 2 currencies, you got your munitions, and then you got the gold shit. Now, you gotta pay for the gold shit, I believe, or there might be some tie-ins or whatever that give you some gold stuff. And then the munitions you can get just from, you know, completing missions and beating battles and all that stuff and just grinding and grinding. That's all. That's really the gist of it right now. The same core gameplay is intact, however, with a few modifications. So let's go ahead and play around with my Russia platoon. These guys over here have gotten some EXP on them, I think. Right now, here's the unit itself, the rifleman unit. Yeah, we got a little bit of EXP. Nothing to brag about, though. Alright. You can also get these supply boxes, but they work in the same way as the Overwatch boxes. Alright. Oh, wait. Actually, I want to abort that. Custom practice. Let's do a... Oh, I can't do hard Russia or hard USA. That's unfortunate. Okay. How about normal USA? Alpine. This is a closed beta, by the way, so what you're seeing right now is not indicative to the final version of the game. They're probably going to tweak out the accuracy, damage, and stat bonuses for all of the units, as well as how the currency works out. So right now we get access to 3 assets at the start of the game, and I could discard some of them in order to get better assets. So right now, let's discard attack sites. Let's see what we get access to. Draw fire. Okay. Pretty meme. All these are command. Good stuff. This was the same map that I actually saw in PAX East. Alright, so welcome to Warfare Online. Anyway, so right now these are the 5 units. They take a little bit of a time to get ready, and then afterwards you can just send them out like so. However, if I send out a unit, then that will reset the entire cooldown. So that is something to worry about. You also have this like little meter over here. This will dictate your power level, so to speak, of what kind of cards you can actually utilize. So for example, if a card requires 4 munitions or ammo or whatever that's called, then you can only use then you can only use that 4 card. You can't use 6 card or something, or whatever. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining that. So this is the whole gameplay. You kind of move units from point A to point B, holding cover, keeping your guys alive, while also getting closer and closer to your opponent's base. Now, something to keep in mind about as well. Hold on, I'm just lower the FX really quick. Something to keep in mind about as well is the fact that you have to get into cover in order to essentially survive a lot of these firefights, as the damage is quite massive if you just stay out of cover and get completely butt-fucked by riflemen. So that is something to keep in mind about. Anyway, we're going to use a little bonus over here to give myself a little bit more of a cover bonus, and then we're going to get supply boost to get some extra... Ah, that's what it's called. It's called supply. Okay, quite meme. Anyway, you grab cover by clicking on a unit and then left-clicking on the cover. Cover is designated by these like white little highlights over here. If your unit is hunkered down in cover, he will stay in cover until told to move. But if you don't give your unit a cover command, then he will not get into cover.
Enemies
I
neutralized.
can also follow this unit if I want to and just kind of move along with him. Anyway, let's go ahead and get a machine gun team right now. Let me see if I can get an infantry reinforce.
Hostiles are down.
Yeah, there we go. Let's get some extra machine gun teams. So this supply, basically, depending on the supply that you have, you can use the prerequisite card. So if you have 8 supply, you can use an 8 card, and blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Really sorry to explain that in a really bad way. I do not know why my brain didn't work right there. Anyway, so we're just moving out with the infantry assault truck. Let's go ahead and take that cover right about now. Oh shit. Let's see if he'll move.
Roger that. Missiles on the way.
Alright, go in. Is the missile gonna fire? There we go. Good shit. Alright, let's send out the tank. These battles are pretty quick, honestly. It's not hard to get like a 6-minute or a 5-minute game or whatever. You're not gonna spend like 40 minutes dealing with one opponent, especially since of course there's a limit to the amount of units you can send out. Alright, so tanks gonna move out. Tanks and vehicles in general do not use cover, so that's something to keep in mind about. This is just a practice deck, by the way. This isn't at all anything that you should kind of focus on. Alright, those are snipers. They have longer range, and I think they do a lot of damage, but unfortunately they have very little hit points. I gotta say that right now the cover system could use a little bit of work. Maybe ease into getting troops into cover. Anyway, the tank should Shrek all these guys right now. We're gonna actually maybe get a second one. Maybe. No, let's get the LAV. Wait a minute, I actually picked the United States card platoon. Oh, I remembered I chose Russia. I must have reset. I just now noticed it. There isn't a lot of difference between the Russian faction and the United States faction besides an aesthetic difference, really. They don't play differently to each other.
Got a squad of riflemen on the field. Over.
Like, I assume a M1A1 tank will do the same amount of damage as a T90, which is the Russian equivalent. Obviously, for balance purposes, that has to be the case. Okay, let me just do this really quick. I don't want these guys to push up. You can also get an artillery strike right there. Oh, we can't hit the base, sadly. He grenade me. He must have got, yeah, the assault troops over there are good at close range combat. And I guess they have grenades. Make them a little bit more powerful.
Got hostiles, KIA. Over.
Let's get some mines. Oh. Yeah, I want to drop down some AT mines just in case. And let me do this. Let me do that. That card over there will allow me to just get rid of the timer off my infantry units, so that was pretty useful.
Friendly artillery fire inbound.
I can also repair a vehicle right there, so that's pretty good. And how about some smoke mortars? For
Smoke
good
shells
measure.
on the way.
And this should be all done, actually. I have kind of like picked a random assortment of different cards as well, so that is something to keep in mind about.
Rifles
I
ready
assume
to go.
later on
Over.
they'll be able to they'll just introduce more cards and stuff to make the game a little bit more nuanced. As you see, this is the stay put or move out mode. I guess because there's an enemy base over here, I can't necessarily tell my machine gun team to move over there. But this base is dead, so it doesn't really matter. In terms of complaints, there isn't really much to go off of. The game looks great, and it plays very similar to that of Warfare 1917, 1944. I guess we'll have to see what happens later on to the game's development to kind of understand if the currency system is pretty good or if the game gets stale because there's a lack of like X amount of cards, which I assume they'll add in like different types of infantry units later down the line. It's kind of begging for it, actually. Okay, let's battle again. This time, Russia platoon. Wait. Yeah, I don't know how I made that mistake, honestly. Okay, T90, sniper team, machine gun team, assault, all that stuff. I've kind of foregone any like AT squad, instead relying upon my vehicles in order to provide some AT support. Probably not the smartest thing, but I mean, YOLO. The online mode, the closed beta is currently online, and the online mode has some people already playing it. I don't know if the... Wait, why is it taking so long? That's weird. Been stuck in the practice mode load up for quite a while. But yeah, the online mode currently works. So if you don't want to play practice, you don't have to. I just currently want to give you guys a little rundown of what to expect. It's really strange, actually. I'm just still in it. Okay, hold up a second. Okay, so I've been stuck in queues for a while now. I'm not sure why I can't get into a practice game or an online game for that matter. It's just a little bit weird. They'll be ironing out these issues later on during the future versions of the game. I think a new patch is actually coming out tomorrow, so I'm just playing with a really old version. Anyway, so I'm gonna try it one more time. If this doesn't work, then whatevs, you know. I've waited about 10 minutes once, just, you know, put on Batman the animated series and then just waited. Something to keep in mind about is that cover is designated by two different colors. You have yellow and green. Green is more powerful than yellow. Something to keep in mind about. Just offers the best defense. Something also to keep in mind about is that when you're not in cover, you have absolutely no cover. You are fucked. Okay, so yeah, it says time matchmaking. That is gonna take a while. When it hits like the 2-minute mark, then you know what? I'm just gonna have to call it. Actually, I'll just change it whenever. But yeah, currently the game is in closed beta, and I think if they balance the currency for purchasing munitions and all that stuff right, and if the game is well balanced and all that shit, and if it plays very similar to that of 1917, 1944, with obvious enhancements such as more units and different dimensions of play, then you know what? I like it. I think it's worth your buck. Okay, yeah, it's not gonna work. Trust me, I've waited longer than 1 minute. It's not gonna work out. Okay, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.